that is recovery. Like that is recovery. Like I'm literally like recovering from a less effective lifestyle and designing my life to be something more in tune with what it is that I desire to be, who it is that I desire to be, what impact that I want to have on this world, what impact I want to have in my relationships, what impact I want to have in my life. And that's really like what emotional recovery is. Hey, you feel that?
You are now tuned into You Feel That with Bryce the Third.
Yo, we in here. Welcome to episode 2. You feel that? With Bryce the Third. A podcast for highly sensitive people, creatives, or just anybody trying to better manage their emotions. We learn here how to use our emotions to better our lives, to give us an enlarged capacity for living. Cultivating an understanding of our emotional power, or taking it back and learning to find the strength in the process of living. I am, of course, your host, Bryce The Third, music artist and mental and emotional wellness advocate. And today we're going to talk about emotional recovery, what that means, what it means for you, and how to kind of begin the process of applying it to our lives. So I identify as a person in recovery from alcoholism and substance use. And in these circles that I've been in, like 12-step circles, Alcoholics Anonymous, all the 12-step programming, even because I've done some coaching too. I'm a certified peer recovery mentor, and even in like the realm of coaching, you have multiple pathways of recovery, and you have harm reduction. People on, Suboxone, kind of like, taking one substance out and putting another substance in, but, their quality of life increases. And then what I've noticed is like in these different circles, like you'll have kind of, these people don't believe that these people are recovering right, or these people feel like, they have, they really feel like their way is the best to recover. And that's, and I'm not speaking like broad terms. I'm just saying that I've seen it happen. I've seen it in some of the culture of some of these communities where it's like, okay, we have a monopoly on what it looks like to recover. And it's crazy. I mean, because I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and not so anonymous now, but there, like when you really dig into like the solution of recovery, you'll find that's not the case. Like that's not the case. That's not what any of the texts of these communities teach. Like they teach that nobody has a monopoly on what's right. But I've been in a lot of circles. I've been in a lot of different communities, and I found like certain commonalities. And at least the one commonality that I found the most is that recovery, like how recovery looks, is your quality of life increasing. And what I found, at least for me, a highly sensitive person, I've always dealt, with tough emotions, and it's kind of been my dharma to figure out like how to deal with these tough emotions and still kind of show up and be at my best. The commonality is like, what is my quality of life? Like, how am I taking this experience and turning it into something that benefits me in the long run and benefits my growth? And so when we get to talking about like the reasons why, I would drink or get high, like it would be so that I didn't feel these tough emotions that I would feel. And for me, I've built process for turning these tough emotions into catalysts for growth and change. But it's really been, a process, a practice. And that's what I found that emotional recovery is like going from a relationship with our emotions that doesn't necessarily serve us, that doesn't necessarily do us any good, that, causes for debilitation. Like we can no longer operate, or maybe we've never even operated at, our highest level because of our emotions. Or we look at emotions as, something we need to cut off. Something like where I'm from, there's this big, my heart code, and, I'll never trust nobody again, and I'll never love nobody again. And it's really like, that's really like residual from like living a life where emotions didn't really serve us. Like emotions, the only thing that they did was hurt us. So emotional recovery is what I'm learning. It's like turning our emotions into something that serves us, that helps us to grow, that are like an indication or a catalyst of the potential for growth in our lives, versus like something that just kind of like is on our shoulders and it's like, damn, this sucks. Damn, this is grief. Damn, I'm sad. Damn, I'm angry. Damn, I'm anxious. Like learning how to turn our emotions into something that serves us. And this is a practice. Like this is a continuous journey. Like at least in my experience, like I haven't had a lot of experience, it's been about 8 years really like hammering down on increasing the quality of my life through this process. But at least in my experience, it doesn't look like there's an end in sight. And in all actuality, like if I come to the conclusion like, oh, like I've made it, this is it. Like this is the finish line. I got it. Like as soon as I get there, like life presents to me a circumstance for me to feel a way about that challenges that notion. Like, oh, you thought you knew, but you don't know. It's almost like one of those things like, I'll get into the rhythm of, understanding. And then, I'll become like confident and maybe even cocky. And, life comes and shows me like, no, boom, here goes this circumstance. Now you're going to have to feel these things. And what are you going to do with these feelings? And it's like, oh, shit. I don't know. I have no idea. And it's that realization of not having an idea and that continuous process of building things around us that allow for us to cultivate new strengths as we're presented with new circumstances in life, that I think is like the foundation of emotional recovery. Really, it's like turning life into something that no matter what it brings, it strengthens us. Like learning alchemy, like learning how to turn shit into gold, kind of, and this is what I found is like the best thing for me. And I can only speak for myself, but like I wanted to expose you all to some of the processes that I've been able to use in my life that has allowed for this practice, that has allowed for me to take life and whatever it presents to me and turn anything into an opportunity for me to grow and learn and develop into somebody that has a larger capacity than maybe I had before this circumstance arrived. So the first thing I want to get into is mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness and meditation has been big for me. I probably didn't get deep into my practice until like my second year of recovery. And it just has been huge in me reestablishing with my or maybe like even for the first time, like maybe I never had a relationship with my emotions and thoughts. I would say like reestablishing a healthy relationship with my emotions and thoughts, but maybe like I don't come from where we talk about shit like that. Like we're not giving that, like I'm from where like, people will kill you because of, not being able to handle their emotions. Like nobody never gave us like a rule book or even there's no class on like emotional intelligence. Like there's like not even in high school, like there's nothing that tells us like, oh, like this is a process like to learn how to manage your anger. Like for me, I was actually, when I was a kid, I got into a fight. Probably, I don't know. I got into a lot of fights, but this fight in particular, like part of it wasn't even probation, but like part of it was they put me in like anger management. And so I went and, once again, like throughout my whole life, and the more you tune into these episodes, we'll probably dig more and more into like my life experiences. But as far back as I can remember, there's always been some type of emotional intervention at every step. Like this guy has to really pay attention to the way that he reacts and lives in his emotions. So anyways, they sent me to anger management, but this was one of those things where it's like, this wasn't in preparation. This wasn't to prepare me for what's to come. This was kind of like in, what's the word I'm looking for? Not retaliation, but like it's too late at this point. Like this was in like, it's too late. Like the thing has already been done. Like he's already fought somebody and really hurt somebody bad. And like, it wasn't in prevention. It was kind of like to follow up the action. Like imagine if, we had meditation and mindfulness in these schools and kind of like preventing these circumstances from happening in the first place by helping students to establish a new relationship with their emotions and their thoughts. Like what meditation has done for me is allowed me to take a look at certain things. So like, whereas beforehand, I'd feel it and then I'd do it. Like, or if I felt disrespected, I felt like you had to feel the disrespect that I feel, or I felt like I had to make you feel how I felt because that's, I'm lashing out. This shit is pissing me off and you need to feel how pissed off I am. Or if I'm scared, like I'm out of there. Like, I'm not going to explain anything. I'm not going to sit in it. I'm not going to investigate like what this fear is. Like, I'm out of there, So what meditation has allowed me to do is kind of like sit in it and establish a relationship with it. And like, okay, like, what is this that I'm scared of? Or like, why am I angry? And, I don't have to cut it off. Like, I don't have to throw it away or push it to the side, like sitting in it. And when I sit with it and investigate, you can see the origins, you can see the coming and going, you can see the rising and falling, you can see how it shows up, but it's impermanent, like it doesn't stay forever. And you can allow it to pass. And then it's like, whoa, like I've never I've never sat in it and then saw it come and then saw it go. Like I always felt it and then felt I had to do something about it or shut it off or like numb it up because you have to do something about shit, right? Like, so this is some shit, so I got to do something about it. Meditation and mindfulness has allowed me to do that, and it's really like giving me what I like to call the stop and pause moment, where it's like that little gap between what I feel and what I do, and it's helped me to establish for the first time like a relationship with my emotions and feelings that I don't have to identify with them. So if I'm even our thoughts too, like if I feel a way about you or if I think something, like what we tend to do, like where we come from is we tend to, this is my thought, like I am my thought. So if I'm feeling like, fuck you, I don't like you and like I'm a person who doesn't like you, or, this is what you say about me, and like we can't exist in the same space. But like with, mindfulness and meditation, the practice has allowed me to kind of like stop and pause. And it's like, yeah, my mind may be thinking these things and I may feel these things as a result of my thoughts, because it goes like I think it, then I feel it, and then like so, but then the action. But like what the gap allows me to do, that mindfulness and meditation allows for, is like my mind thinks it and maybe even my body feels it, but then I investigate it and see what these things mean, and then I can put that gap in between, those my thoughts and my emotions and then my action, which allows me to take the action that I would prefer. Like I'm able to reshape my life into what it is that I desire it to be, versus being a slave to my emotions and my thoughts. Like because one thing about our thoughts and our emotions, especially after like we've established that we are not our thoughts and we are not our emotions, but like we have no control over them. So a lot of times, and I lead. I'm a certified mindfulness instructor, and I've led a lot of mindfulness and meditation classes. And like one of the biggest complaints that I get is that I can't shut the mind off. I can't stop my mind from running. To which I reply, you don't have to. That's perfect, actually, because like that's not what the mind is made to do. Like the mind is not made to shut off. And that be kind of like our issue. Like we want to shut our mind off. So, we drink heavy or we smoke or we like, we just want to like numb it up. Like, cause we feel like I don't have no off switch. I don't have no other choice. Well, that's not what the mind is, meant to do. Like the mind solves problems. Like the mind is one of our best friends. But the whole thing with the process of solving problems is that when there are no problems, what does the mind do? It creates problems. So now we have a problem on our hand because nothing's going on, but my mind says that something should be going on or something shouldn't be going on, or, whatever, right? Because that's what the mind does. It continuously runs. What mindfulness and meditation allows for us to do is establish a new relationship with that process that is a healthy one. And it's a practice. So it's like, there's no, like, as long as I've been meditating and as long as I've been like really like establishing that relationship and cultivating that relationship, like it is, I have to show up today. Like today is the most important day. Like I have to show up today. Just based upon like, do we show up today or not? And today is the most important day in emotional recovery in this context, specifically like meditation and mindfulness. So Meditation and mindfulness is huge, and it has been a huge help in my life. So, a resource that I've used, especially early on, is a resource called Insight Timer. That is INSIGHT Timer. It's an app. I got iPhone, but I'm pretty sure it's on whatever y'all Androids call y'all Android store. I don't know. Shots. But Insight Timer is a free app that allows for you to kind of like tap into all different type of free meditations. It does have a paid feature. I do pay for it because it's worth like 13,000 times more than what I pay for it. But and it allows you to do the courses on there. But I would advise go checking out Insight Timer to get jumped off with your mindfulness journey. You can go and do a lot of guided meditations. It's got a timer on there that allows you to kind of choose how much time you would like to sit in meditation. Like, if you don't want a guided meditation, you can set your timer for 15, 30, 25 minutes and, sit in. And it's got like the chimes that'll go off. So it's pretty cool. It's helped my life a lot. Another thing that has added to my emotional recovery is community. Community is big. What do I mean by community? I mean a group of people doing some of the things that you would like to do. A group of people already participating in creating and cultivating the life that you desire to lead. Like getting around people who do the shit that you want to do, who are in the midst of creating a life that you'd like to have for yourself. For me, like I said, I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. That was my first experience with community. Like I showed up, and at that point in my life, like I was really like beat down due to my substance use. And I showed up to my first meeting, and I'm looking around, and these people are like laughing and joking. And then they list off, their sobriety time. It's like, oh shit, like you ain't drunk in 8 years and you're fucking laughing, you're happy. Like I feel not as happy as you look, and I don't like, I didn't think that life was going to be able to be enjoyable without any of the substances that I used to kind of like, cope with my personal experience. So like, that was like the thing that had clicked, like a light bulb clicked when I went to that meeting and I saw these people. I'm like, damn, I want what y'all want. And then, since they have it, all I had to do was ask them like, how did you get it? And then, they kind of proceeded to tell me how it is that they got it and suggested that, I'll try some of the things that they tried. And I did. And, I received what it is that they have. And so that's like the beauty of community. Another thing that I did was, I used to smoke cigarettes, Newports. Like I'm a real black person, guys. I used to smoke Newport honeys. From, I was a shorty. I was probably like 15 before I smoked Newports. I was smoking Black and Milds, but I was smoking Newports. Really like a half a pack, maybe a day. I got to, and in 2014, I quit smoking cigarettes. And it's crazy, and I can't recommend the exact group now because that group, the last time I checked it, like it's super trash. Like I don't know what ended up happening, but when I quit smoking cigarettes, I found a Facebook group, and it was a Facebook group about quitting smoking. And so say I was on my third day quitting smoking, I would show up to this group, and it would be somebody in there on their fourth day. And it's like, I would get in there and want to like, like, fuck this shit hard. Like, ooh, I don't think I'll make it. Like, And it'd be somebody in there on their fourth day. And it's like, you'll make it, bro. You'll make it, bro. I'm on my fourth day. Like my third day was as hard as you saying your third day is. Like, just wait another day, and cause I'm here on my fourth day and it's cool. Like slide through. And it was just like, it's like, oh wow. Like there's people that are actively doing what it is that I'm doing, that are actively shooting for, the life that it is that I desire. So like, let me get around these people and let me hang around these people. And for my emotional recovery, like it was huge, because like I would have like, so in the context of quitting cigarettes, like I would have like these moments of like, oh, I'm hopeless. Like I'm hopeless. Like there's no way that I'm gonna be able to make another hour without a cigarette. Or like very early on, like somebody pissed me the fuck off. like to the point of where it's like, it's one of those 2 cigarette situations. You know how like you get into a 2 cigarette situation where it's like either I'm gonna beat your ass or like I'm gonna smoke 2 cigarettes in a row. And here was a circumstance, and like I really desired to do neither. Like I desired not to like put hands on somebody, and I also desired like not to smoke these cigarettes. So I was like, what do I do? And and it's in these moments, and this is what emotional recovery looks like, because it's in these moments where previously, our mechanism was to go and smoke, 2 cigarettes in a row, or previously our mechanism was to go like and choke this guy the fuck out. But it's like, okay, I desired for something different, and in my recovery, like how do I replace what I used to do with something that is more productive and conducive to building the life that I desire to have? And that is recovery. Like that is recovery. Like I'm literally like recovering from a less effective lifestyle and designing my life to be something more in tune with what it is that I desire to be, who it is that I desire to be, what impact that I want to have on this world, what impact I want to have in my relationships, what impact I want to have in my life. And that's really like what emotional recovery is, man. So like learning how to discover different processes that allow for us to do this. And like I said, in this context, we're talking community, and community has just been big because it's like, I'm not a fucking alone. Like no matter what it is that you want to do, like you don't have to be alone in doing it. And I think that's the biggest thing that keeps us in our old habit, our old habitual pattern, is that like, I'm alone. Like nobody understands. Like don't nobody get it. But when you get around somebody that maybe look like you, come from where you come from, and then is doing something more than what you're doing now, but closer towards what it is that you're trying to do, it's like, okay, let me get around you. And then, even when it comes to looking like what we look like and coming from where we come from, like when I first got to Alcoholics Anonymous, like one of my best friends, she was like a 45-year-old white woman school teacher, like the farthest from what you would think that we would connect with just because of where we come from. But like we connected around the similar fact, like, oh, we're looking to improve our lives in this manner, and we just click like that. So you'll also find that people that don't look like you or don't come from where you come from can be a great example to to follow, like, and to look at, and to model behaviors after, because it help comes in all different shapes and sizes. Support comes in all different shapes and sizes. Community comes in all different shapes and sizes. And we can't be boxed in to what our community has to look like, because that's how we get stuck in what has always been. The mind will tend to do that too. Going back to mindfulness and meditation just for a second, like the mind will tend to do that too, where it's like, I want to grow and improve, and it has to look like this. I was talking to somebody last night where it's like, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, it's coming up, and this is what it's gonna look like. It's like, damn, bro, like it's Friday or whatever day. Like it's 4 days ahead of the days that he just said, like, it's gonna look like this. And it's like, oh, you have it set, like what your life gonna look like. You have what the near future looks like already, and that's like the exact way to create what has already been created, to recreate. And if we don't desire what has already been created, then we kind of got to get out of that mindset of what things will look like, sound like, be like, taste like we have to get out of our own way in that manner. So yeah, definitely community. And I could harp on about this for like 20,000 more hours, but find that space where the people are that are doing what it is that you want to do, and learn how to tap in. That's majorly important. All right, so number 3 on the path to emotional recovery is learning how to practice. So how like if you do martial arts, or if you're learning to play the piano, like you have to like show up on a daily basis. Like it's less about like being the greatest right now, but more about like showing up and practicing in this moment so that we can become good overall. And a lot of times, like, we don't even notice that we're getting better. Like it isn't until like we look back and we've been practicing something for a couple of months that we look back and it's like, whoa, like I am way better. Like I sound way better if I'm playing a piano, or I swept the leg way quicker than I would have if it was martial arts. In this case, it's emotional recovery. And it's just like learning on a daily basis how to show up, because today is the most important day when it comes to our recovery. Today is the most important day when it comes to developing a life that is up to standard with where it is that we desire to be in life. Today is the most important day. And really, I could really just drop the mic on that one and leave that there. But it's like learning how to practice is essential, because a lot of times, like I read somewhere the other day that impatience and dysfunction go hand in hand. And it's like a lot of us come from dysfunctional circumstances, situations, upbringings, lifestyles. And, when we want something now. We want it quick and we want it to happen. We want it, and what I've learned is like emotional recovery is not something that I don't even know if it ever happens. When we think of the term "it happened," it's like, okay, it's happened and I don't have to worry about it anymore. But I feel like as soon as we arrive, or as soon as we feel like something has happened when it comes to like our recovery or emotional wellness, like that's when it gets tough, because we already know. So like when presented with another circumstance in life to find out, like we're not open anymore, because we already know how it's going to work out, right? So just learning how to show up, and however that looks like for you is going to be different, because the whole thing is we are all different people. And especially when it comes to emotions, like we all may have specific emotions that we specifically have to work through because of our specific circumstances and who we are, like our genetic makeup. Like for me, I know I've always kind of dealt with like loneliness, like wanting somebody to be there, but then they're not there, and then feeling like I'm not worth anything because somebody decided to leave, or like wanting somebody to think highly of me or think good of me, and if they don't, like that says something about my worth. So that's like a specific niche that I gotta kind of like focus on when it comes to emotional recovery and emotional wellness, because this struggle can pop up at any given time. Like, and there's been so many opportunities for me to cultivate understanding around this specific struggle. And I don't even want to use the word struggle anymore. Like this journey, this healing journey. Because life has placed me in circumstances where it's like, okay, now you need to learn this variable of this journey. Now you need to learn like what happens when, everybody is there and you don't even have the energy to even like be there for everybody, and how to keep tabs on your ego to make sure that everybody being there says nothing about who you are, because then on the flip side, now you have to see how it feels like when nobody is there. And especially if you let your ego get to you when everybody was there, now nobody is here. Now who the fuck is you not? You ain't nobody. No, I'm playing. But it's like these are the things that I have to personally deal with. So like learning what you personally deal with, and learning how to build process around like the discovery of how to actually work through it and deal with it. Journaling, things that have worked for me, journaling, eating well, because gut health like really plays huge into mental health, and contributing, creating, because I'm a creative, I'm an artist, I'm a musical artist. Obviously now I'm a podcaster. I like to make shit, and like making shit helps me to be well. Getting outside of myself, picking up the phone when I need to pick up the phone, building a peer group. Fatherhood. I'm a parent, teen parent, been a dad since I was 15. And I'm a parent of two, boy and girl, son and daughter. They teach me way more than I'm pretty sure I teach them, but don't tell them. It's just like figuring out like what works for you. I like to take walks. I like nature. Like I like to travel. Like, I like water. Like learning what works for you is going to be a process, and that is the outcome of practicing. So today, how are you putting into practice your specific, like how do you have your antenna up for how you can learn to be more conscious and aware and compassionate and understanding around your own emotional journey, like your own emotional recovery? Like, what can you do today that allows for you to grow and cultivate wisdom around what it is that you need emotionally, spiritually, physically, all those things? But today we're talking about like specific emotional recovery. Like, how can you build upon what it is that you've built thus far today? because tomorrow's not here yet and yesterday gone. You know, how can we get away from beating ourselves up about stuff that happened yesterday we can't change, and tripping about the stuff that's supposed to happen tomorrow that's not here yet. Like, today is where the practice is. So that's number 3. And that is it for this episode of You Feel That with Bryce the Third. If you could go and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts at, but I think Apple Podcasts is the only one that lets you leave a review. If you do that, like, more people could find us and we can get this good energy out to everybody else. You can follow me at Bryce the Third on all social media, but Instagram is where I'm most active. You could also join my Patreon page where I put a lot of behind the scenes kind of like clips. There's a lot that goes into like making things like this and the other things that I make, and Patreon is kind of like where I put like the B-roll or like the extra credit stuff, or like, just stuff for people who want more of this type of energy. Before we get out of here, remember, you are complete, you are whole, you are 100%. You don't need nobody to finish your sentence because you are the paragraph. Matter of fact, you are the book. Love y'all. Catch y'all next time on You Feel That with Bryce the Third.